Formula One is really big in Mexico. After 30 years without a Mexican driver, something like that, we finally got a Mexican driver, so it was a big thing for our country. Certainly being a Latin, coming outside Europe, it's harder because we are the ones that we have to come here, change our culture, change our live on our own. So our challenges are not only on track, are also off track. Basically, I had a special permit that I could race drivers with much older ages. We were always going to the races and then coming back straight. We were driving for hours on the motorway. We were literally sleeping in the cars, wake up, drive the car. We will drive the entire night, get there, wake up, not even shower, just grab a glass of water, throw it into your face, and get into the go-kart and qualify and something like that. Finish the race, go back for another 10 hours, driving the whole night, get us to school Monday morning. The crazy thing about it is that we were super happy. It didn't really matter if we won or not because I think we were just enjoying the time. We were not thinking much about what's gonna come next or whether we're gonna make it to F1. Or we were just enjoying the time, and it was pretty simple, and we were just pretty happy to do that sort of things.
¿Nos puedes comentar sobre esa carrera?
I was in Mexico, I was leading this championship, and the prize at the end of the season was going to be to get a test in formulas. And I had a crash with another guy, but the other driver was really powerful with the Mexican Federation, and he had some good influences, so I got banned. They took my license away for the rest of the season. So I was leading that championship, so I was not going to be able to do the test, because I'm not going to win it. And I really wanted to do that race, but I couldn't because I didn't have my license with me. That was the last time I raced in Mexico until I was in Formula One. To race in Europe as a Mexican, it's very expensive. I want to get to Formula One, so I need to be racing in Europe. I remember waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning before going to school to call all the European teams. Hi, I'm Sergio Perez. I'm a Mexican driver, very fast Mexican driver, and I have a sponsor. That's what I'll say, because I knew that if I said I had a sponsor, they'll be interested. So I'll say, I have a sponsor. and yeah, that caught their attention. I remember my mom going crazy with the bills, with the telephone bills, at the end of the month, because just calling everyone, making sure that I will get some proposals, and she was super, super angry. She didn't understand what I was doing. She thought I was playing with the phone, and I tried to explain to her that I was contacting the teams, all the teams in Europe to get a proposal, but she didn't understand. She just told me off, and she told me not to use the phone again. And no one told me really how to do things. It was all on my own.
Checo, you must see that's unbelievable, right?
It's unbelievable for the age, for a 14-year-old to think all of this, and yeah, I just feel like it was such an advantage, because I was a 14-year-old, but I was thinking like a 30-year-old, and that was pretty impressive. I called so many different people in German and so on, but there was one, and it was a very small team. The guy that I was talking to on the phone, Gunther, he spoke very bad English, and I spoke very bad English. So I think we were both very patient to each other. So we managed to understand each other, and that's how I got into that team. Yeah, once I got the proposals, it was great, but I didn't have any money. So it was, okay, now I have the proposal, so now I have to find the money. I was sponsored by Carlos Slim at the time. I know Carlos since I was little. I used to travel with Carlos, and he knew that I was racing, and so we had like a relationship. I think what he saw in me was that I was different to every other kid in that regard, you know, that I was so hungry for it. You see a 14-year-old kid with that level of passion, of determination. I guess it was very hard to say no. And I had to look after myself. I didn't speak any English, and I was going to live in Germany. I flew into Munich, and Gunther, I finally met Gunther, the guy that I was talking to on the phone. And yeah, we met each other, and thought like, wow, I'm here finally in Europe. We're gonna meet all the F1 drivers, and I'm gonna be with them, and yeah, it's gonna be great fun. And once I arrived to Germany, I realized that what I thought was crazy, and we drove like for 40 minutes or so to this very small village in Germany. I remember like it was getting smaller and smaller and greener, and I was like, wow, there are no houses around here. And I ended up in a hotel. At the time I was in a hotel, in a very small one, and yeah, that was super boring. I will only see Gunther on the weekends, but all the week I'll be on my own. I couldn't talk to anyone, and especially on those years, you know, because with the phone, it was impossible to reach out to people or to text or anything like that. It was so super expensive, so it was really difficult. You know, I went from having a normal 14-year-old life to like someone's completely different, completely on my own. I remember that I could only speak to my friends on not WhatsApp, on Messenger, but I didn't have the internet with me, so I would have to go to the office of Gunther. It was super hard, that part. And that part, I mean, is what the Latins we experience, because we are the ones that have to come to Europe at a very young age, you know, and that makes things a lot trickier for us. After 2 years in Germany, I came to Oxford. And I was pretty happy to move. And Oxford was great, you know, I had great friends there. It was so different to my early time in Germany.
Has helped Sergio Perez make places up as well. He's on the hard tyre. He's going to the end on those hard tyres. Sergio Perez goes up into 4th place.
When I was racing in Formula 3, British F3, I used to go a lot to a car place nearby the factory. We'll go with my boys, with my mechanics and engineers, and we will have a good time in this car place. This guy it's a close friend of mine, and he named a curry after me, and it's a very spicy one. So.
Last couple of corners for Sergio Perez, and this is Perez really back to his imperious best, isn't it?
Sergio Perez, wow, what a race!
It was only until I was in GP2 that things were looking good. There was some interest from other teams in Formula 1, and I thought, well, it's looking like I might end up there. I was told after my GP2 season finished that I was going to be driving for Sauber, and that I was signed with Sauber. And nice events that have happened in my life, I've got to watch, you know. Once I was testing there, I managed to buy my watch there. I remember that my first ever salary, I bought a watch. Or when I had my first kid, when I got married, or doesn't really matter how nice or the watch is. It's about the meaning for me, you know, like it will take me back to that moment straight away. One day I will give them to my kids and say, look, this watch was for this occasion and so on. Now that I'm a Formula 1 driver, I can buy a nicer watch. Everything is about winning in Red Bull and having fun. So those combinations are great in Red Bull. You know, it's what really makes Red Bull very unique in the sport. It's pretty much a guarantee that you will have a strong car, that you will be able to fight for victories, that you will be able to fight pretty much every weekend for it. So it was great to arrive into such a team.
This, the greatest race for Sergio Perez.
I do it for my family and for myself.
This is how we do it, man. This is the Mexican way.
I'm just someone that likes to race, and yeah, I will go for it and try to do the best.